Hi guys, and welcome to this video. Today I will interview Anis. He will tell us his story about Insead. He got admitted to Insead, one of the best MBAs in Europe and in the world, of course. He will tell us everything. He studied medicine for 10 to 12 years, and he decided to do a shift in his career. And he will tell us everything today and how he got admitted to Insead. Welcome, Anis, to this interview. Today, we will begin by first presenting yourself. Tell us more about yourself and why you decided to do an MBA after 10 years studying medicine.
Okay, hi everyone. Hi Anis, and thank you for having me. So I'm Anis, I'm 27. I'm on my final year of residency in medicine. So I'm from Algeria and France, and I lived in both countries. And I moved to France at 17, so I started my medical studies at that time. And now I've been studying for 10 years. So I did 6 years of medical studies, and then I started my residency. So now I've been working at hospitals for 3 years. I did a lot of emergency work. And I applied to Insead MBA program for round 2 of this year. You want me to talk about why I chose to do
Yeah, exactly. You studied hard, 10 years in the medicine field. It's very hard, long years, a lot of things to do. And then you decided to shift your career, to change your career, to take a different path. I want to know the rationale behind this decision.
Yeah, I know that's not very common actually, especially in the medical community in France to do an MBA or to complete our curriculum with business studies. Actually, when I started studying medicine, I very quickly felt that I liked some kind of international exposure in the medical field, and so I tried to find this international aspect in humanitarian work. So at some point, I moved to Nepal to work for an NGO for a couple of months. And there, actually, I discovered a kind of other aspect of the medical world. So I was not doing only clinical work, but I was working more on projects. So I was organizing health camps there. So I had to do a lot of budget management, team management, work with people from other fields. I had to acquire very quickly some skills in finance, in management, in strategy. The skills are not really common in the medical studies. So I had to do it by myself, and I really found a passion for this kind of, working on projects to impact a lot of people rather than treating a patient. Actually, I really love my clinical work, but I have to let's say, treat patients kind of one by one. So I'm more working at an individual level. And I got more interested in working in projects that would impact the lives of many people at the same time. So let's say of thousands of people or millions of people. And then I noticed that in order to have this larger scale impact and work on a high impact project on an international level, I really had to acquire more skills in business, because you need to deal with people from other fields to manage the teams, the logistics, the budgets, and I kept looking for the best way to acquire the skills. First of all, I was thinking about doing it by myself with books, but when I discovered the MBA programs, I kind of had an intuition that was it. That was what I should do, as I would be surrounded by people from different fields, by faculty with high skills in this domain. And so yeah, I decided I would do an MBA, I'd say 2 years ago maybe, but it was too early at that time, as I had to work on my medical skills and medical expertise. And when I arrived in my final year of residency, I thought like that was it. That's the moment. I have not enough medical background to leverage. So that was the perfect time to combine my medical skills with a business mindset in order to go work on projects that would improve healthcare outcomes on a large scale.
Okay, so you will continue to work in your field, but from a larger perspective, a larger impact, right?
Yeah, the thing that I would not be doing clinical work no more. I mean, I would not be working with patients, but I, of course, want to stay in the medical field. So I want to work on projects that would improve patients' outcomes, but on a large scale, you know, so in terms of better organization of health systems, of improvement of health outcomes in developing countries, leveraging technology to improve health innovation. So all aspects that would, at the end, improve the lives of people.
Okay, was it a tough decision? I mean, for your family, for your friends, for your colleagues, when you told them, I want to do an MBA,
Yeah, of course.
did they support?
Actually, yeah, it was first of all a hard decision on a personal level. You know, when you studied medicine for years and practiced with patients, it's very hard to make the decision of not doing clinical work. Because you get very attached to people and you feel a kind of responsibility towards them. So yeah, it's a very tough decision for you, and you have a lot of expertise that you would not use anymore. On the other hand, because I know that my career goal is at the end to improve the lives of people, so I kind of found this balance that helped me, you know, make the decision. And regarding people, yeah, that was very funny because either my family or my friends, they found it very weird. You know, they're not very used to it. They don't always understand why you want to study more after many years of studying. And also in terms of, like, you know, many people do the MBA because they want to progress in their careers, have better salaries after the MBA, you know. And when you're a medical doctor, it's kind of difficult because the salary that you can get as a medical doctor can be very close to what you would get post MBA. For some specialties or in the private practice, it can be even more than a post MBA salary. So yeah, people can find it a bit weird or surprising. For me, it was never a matter of salary or of you know, of progression, but more of progression in terms of personal goals, you know, more than on a professional level.
So now, first step to get admitted to the best MBAs in the world is to do the GMAT. You need a great score in the GMAT. So tell us more about your GMAT preparation. Tell me more in depth. How did you prepare the GMAT with us? How many hours per day, per week? How many times have you done the GMAT? The scores, the teachers?
Yeah, sure. So the GMAT was probably the most complicated part of the process, you know, because I had to do math, and I haven't been doing math for like 10 years before that. So it was rediscovering many concepts. Yeah, what was very helpful is the platform that you provided, because you know, when you buy the GMAT books, I mean the official guides, there are very complete but also very long. And so when you start learning about the concepts, you would be going from what is a number, what's a fraction, and that takes a lot of time when you already have some basics from high school. Right? So with the videos that you provided, that was very helpful, because I could save a lot of time. And also at that time I was working at the hospital, so I was doing long hours at the hospital. Sometimes I was working for 24-hour shift. So you know, I didn't have a lot of time to dedicate for the GMAT. So whenever I had some free time, I would watch the videos in the beginning, you know, just to get familiar with the concept. So for instance, I stopped taking my car to go to work. I had like one hour ride to go work, and I started taking the public transportation, so I could watch the videos for 1 hour in the morning when going to the hospital, then watch other videos when coming back home. So yeah, that helped me understand all the concepts, because they are all covered in the videos. And then when I was done with that, I was also having the one-to-one sessions with the team. So I had my tutor for the quant section and my tutor for the verbal. And yeah, that was the perfect way to apply the concepts as we were solving the exercises together. So I think that what's important to understand with the GMAT is that the goal maybe is not to know all the concepts and to get all the questions right, because I think that I learned more by doing mistakes and by failing in some exercises than by getting them right at the first place. And what's very interesting with the tutoring session is that, when you solve an exercise together with the tutor, then if you make a mistake, you immediately know why you made the mistake, how not to make it again, and what's the best way to approach the question. So I would say that the progression the progression rate is higher than when you do it by yourself and you need to figure out by yourself how you could do it in another way. And especially for the verbal, because the verbal section is kind of, you might think it's just English, but it's a lot of strategy. It's a lot of hidden concepts that you need to understand. And when you understand them, it becomes kind of natural. So yeah, the best thing about the preparation, I think, when you have a good tutor is actually to get the strategies more than the theoretical knowledge. And when you know the strategies, then you just have to apply them. So I took the GMAT the first time after, I'd say, I started preparing by the end of December, and I took it the first time the first week of March. And yeah, I actually failed this first time because I was very well prepared for solving the problems, but not for time management, I would say. So I actually got like 620, but I didn't even complete the quant section. I spent a lot of time on the first question. Like I spent more than 10 minutes on the first question because I kept reading on some forums that you absolutely need to get the first question right. So I kind of insisted on it, and I could have just passed it. So yeah, it was really a matter of time management. And then I took it a second time 1 week after that. So I didn't prepare much between the two. I just had one week to prepare a bit more. And that time the quant section went very well. I got like a great score. It was a 48, I think. But on the verbal section, I took it online this second time, and I had a problem with taking the exam online. So I got completely, I told you about it if you remember. So I got completely disconnected from the platform, and then the proctor, so the guy who had to stay with me online for the exam, he managed to get me back in the session, but I lost time and I was not in anymore. Like I was completely disconnected in my mind from the GMAT at that time, so I couldn't get in and focus and keep doing it. So I got 660. It was a bit better, but still not a great score for Insead. So I decided not to study anymore for the GMAT because the deadline was approaching and I had to prepare for the essays. So I was like, okay, I'll go with this 660 and I'll give it all in the essays and in the rest of the application. And 3 days before the deadline, I decided to take it. Like I booked it 1 day for the next day without much preparation during this month.
Did someone push you to take the test?
Yeah, you actually pushed me. I was telling you, like, I'm tired. I was really tired of the GMAT, like going work and watching the videos and then coming back from work and doing the math. So I was really done with it. And yeah, and Admis really insisted and he told me, because it was between the second and the third time I took it, 1 month passed and 1 month with a focus on essays and the rest of the application. So I didn't really train for the GMAT, but I remember you were insisting with me and every week sending me messages to book a date. And yeah, finally, it was like 3 or 4 days before the deadline. I booked it for the next day. And I went, the biggest difference, I would say, is that I went with a lot of confidence because I know my essays were good. I worked hard on them. I knew that I had this 660 backup just in case, you know, it doesn't go well. So I went with a lot of confidence. I would say zero stress, and it went really well. So I got 700 in this third try. So that's the score that I kept for Insead.
Great, great. I was sure actually that that you can score more. That's why I pushed you to do it. And I invite everybody, do not surrender. Keep pushing, keep working. You can do it. If it didn't work the first time, it can work the second or the third or the fourth or the fifth time. Okay, so never surrender. Okay, great.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, just to complete what you said. What I noticed from the GMAT is that it's not really a test of intelligence. It's really a test of strategy. And if you train for it, I mean, if you prepare well for it, and you dedicate yourself to it, there is no reason that you can't achieve your target score. I mean, even with the 700 now, with you know, thinking back about it, I know that if I had worked even more after that, I would have scored more, and 720, maybe 750. Like it's possible. Any score, it's possible because it's a matter of preparation.
Definitely. Okay, great. So next step, you had to prepare the CV, the essays, and the interviews. So everything related to the process. So tell me more about this phase. Tell me, what advice do you give for people who are preparing the essays and the interviews? What did you learn? Tell me in details the motivation essays, the video interview, the alumni interview. How did you prepare with our consultants? What was the added value, and how did you succeed these interviews?
Yeah, sure. So it's funny because when it comes to the CV and to the interviews, maybe it would seem like easier for some people, but for me, coming from the medical field with clinical work, I never had to do a CV. I never, like, the first interview that I took in my life was the Insead interview. So I had no experience with you know, the business world and the world of the companies and getting hired and applying. So that was completely new for me. So I actually needed help for the CV, as I actually, during my medical curriculum, I also got some training in health innovation, did a lot of volunteering work. Worked with a biotech company. So I did a lot of things, and I didn't really know how to, like, what was important for a business school, because some aspects might be too clinical or too technical for them. So yeah, having a consultant to help me work on the CV was very helpful. And at the end, I was even surprised by my CV, you know, because it seemed like very clear. I had many informations to put in, and making all of it fit on one page was like a great achievement. So I was very happy with my final CV, and having a specialized consultant for that was very helpful for me. Then the essays, I would say I was very natural writing my essays. I mean, I tried to be fully myself. I think that's the best advice that I can give to people. Like, maybe don't try to write what you might think that your reader wants to read, but just be yourself in the essays, and make sure that you have this key messages that you want about who you are and what you want to become, that you will express in your essays. So the essays was the most interesting part of the process, actually. It took me a lot of time, and it was, I would say it was a process of introspection also. Like, I took a lot of time to think about my entire background, my studies, my life back in Algeria. Where does my motivation come from today? Why do I want to do what I want to do? So that was very interesting. And whatever I'll do next, I think this will bring something. This helped me to unlock some aspects of my mindset and my personality. And then the interview. So the video interview, I prepared with the consultant. The video interview was maybe also a bit complicated as you get 4 questions, random questions. You don't know what you're gonna get, and then you have like 45 seconds to prepare, 1 minute to answer. And yeah, that can be a bit difficult, because you can get some questions that seem very familiar to you, and you have a lot of things to say, but you need to make it all fit in 1 minute. On the other hand, you can have some questions about things that you don't have much to say about, but you still have to last for 1 minute. So yeah, we worked with someone from your team for the videos, and I remember at the beginning they told me it's messy, it's not structured, you need to structure more your answers. So I worked on that, on structuring the answer. That was the biggest part of our work. And when I passed the interviews, actually, I had questions. Among the 4 questions, I had 3 questions that we didn't prepare together at all. But because of this preparation of structuring the answer and knowing where to start and when you want to end, it was very natural, actually. So it was straightforward. I did it, and after completing it, I felt very confident about it. And so, yeah, this was the entire online application, I would say. So after that, I waited for the interview invitation. But it took a lot of time, so it's kind of stressful, this period of waiting for the invitation. And I finally got the interview invitation with the contact of 2 alumni. They recommended at Insead, they recommended to do the interviews online because of the pandemic, but because the situation is pretty calm now, and it was pretty calm when I had to do my interviews, I emailed the interviewers and asked them if they would prefer one-to-one, face-to-face, I mean, or online interview. And finally, I did both of them, one in person. So I also prepared with a consultant for the interview. You know, it's always good to have someone in front of you when you prepare, trying to challenge you in your answers and to push you to express more your perspective and you know, just to make sure that during the real interview you feel comfortable enough expressing yourself without doubting about what you want to say. And so the interviews went really well. I think I had a great connection with both interviewers. Yeah, they were, because it's alumni, I think maybe they were cooler than if it was with, I don't know, with an admission officer, because they were genuinely interested in my background, my perspective, my goals. And what was interesting also is that even for them, it was the first time that they had to interview someone from medical background. So they both told me that it was the first time. But yeah, it went really well. And after the interviews, they actually both told me that they had a good time and that they enjoyed the interview. So I also was confident about them. But you can never know, because, you know, you're in a pool of applicants and you have many great applicants to the school. So after that, you just need to wait until you get the final.
Very good, very good. So congratulations. You had all what it takes to succeed, a great background, diversity. You come from Algeria, international experience, the GMAT scores, the essays, the project, everything was clear, everything was perfect. And you got admitted. So do you encourage other doctors to pursue an MBA, or what do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think really it's a very personal decision, you know, but I globally encourage all doctors to take some time at some point to think about what they want to do, because there are many things that you can do in medicine. Of course, you have the clinical practice, but you can also, but you also need doctors to conduct health policy, health research, health innovation. I think the MBA can be very interesting for a medical doctor, because it opens many doors, and it also broaden your perspective, I would say. You just find yourself getting more skills and having a network that would allow you, to change the healthcare industry on a global scale. Of course, it can be a very hard decision, because you also love your clinical practice and being with patients. But yeah, it's something that can be very interesting for a doctor. The most important is to think about to take this time to think about what you want to do. And if you think that you are meant to have this global impact on the healthcare industry, want to work on projects that would impact many lives, then yeah, the MBA can be a great option, to gain all the skills and the network and the experience that would help you do so.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Anis, for this interview.
You're welcome.
Congratulations again. And for those who are interested to prepare the GMAT and get a great score, and to prepare the essays, the application, the interviews of a master's program or an MBA program, you can find my number and my email in the description of this video. Don't hesitate to contact me. So thank you so much, Anis, again, and bye-bye. See you in another video.
Thank you, Anis.